In this episode, we will be listening to people provide advice for newly married couples.
Hey, beginner wife, if you've cried yourself to sleep in the last year, felt moody or discouraged, or been extremely angry at your spouse, you're not alone. Marriage brings out the best in us and the worst in us. You're still learning how to be a couple, how to disagree respectfully and not tear one another down or lash out in anger. Marriage can be vulnerable, and maybe that scares you. Please don't give up. Please don't think you've married the wrong man. If you married a man with goodwill who is not abusive, you're probably just experiencing the growing pains of learning how to be married. Marriage is a big deal and a big life change. When two selfish and imperfect people get married, their immaturity can butt heads. But if you're both committed to one another and challenge yourself to mature, apologize, and forgive each other, that's when the beauty happens.
Hi, it's an Ask Me Anything. Natalia wants to know, I've been married for 2 years, but I really haven't seen any successful marriages up close. Do you have any advice for a newlywed? Oh, honey, do I ever. First of all, get around some successful marriages, not just so that you can see what they look like, but so that if you and your husband ever get into a spot where you're struggling, that you have other people who've been married successfully to speak into your life. Find a couples group at church or at another church if you have to. But it is super important to surround yourself with people who believe in marriage and want to help you succeed in your own. The other thing, put your husband first. Make sure that you make him feel respected and feel honored, because when you build into your marriage will build into you. Do you have a question? Go to crystalevanshurst.com/ask me anything.
The number one piece of advice I found to get us through this newlywed stage is we have to get really good at talking about hard stuff. The newlywed stage is a really good place to look at each other, to connect with each other, and to go get really skilled at handling conflict. Because if you don't learn to handle the conflict at the newlywed stage when it starts to rear its head, then guess what? You're going to end up picking up a pattern of either fighting, which drives the other person to their friends more, or flighting and avoiding and disconnecting and not communicating through it. It's about recognizing that there's always going to be smoke, which is your friends or your family, and there's going to be a fire, which is the starved stuff, right? The safety, the trust, the appreciation, the respect, the validation, the encouragement, the dedication. There's always the deeper issue. So we've got to get good at talking not in the smoke, not just fighting about friends, and getting down to the real starved stuff.
3 things every newlywed couple needs to hear. First, the first year of marriage is of adjustment, not a test. It's normal to argue more. You're learning how to share space, time, and responsibilities. Disagreements don't mean you're failing, you're figuring it out. Second, talk about the small stuff because it tends to become the big stuff. Money, habits, family, boundaries, or even how you spend weekends. Talk about it now. Most long-term conflict comes from unresolved expectations. Third, make time for fun, not just responsibilities. Between errands and family visits, it's easy to forget to enjoy each other. Sunday brunches, movie nights, evening walks, make time that's just for the two of you.
What is the secret to a successful marriage?
Some of you listeners are like, oh, come on, don't say this. I'm like, it's not cliche. It's true. If you can pull off loving Jesus more than your spouse, you got a chance. All marriages are fail in divorce, or you end up living together as glorified roommates. That fire goes out. So you got to do a few things. One is tap into the source where love actually comes from. And that's Jesus. It also allows you to have a reference point. So both of you, as you grow closer to Jesus, according to a biblical model, you are getting closer to each other as you move toward that similar point. Otherwise, you're not the same dude that you were 10 years ago. Do you have any chance that you're going to be the same dude you are now in 10 years?
No.
No, you're going to be different.
Talked to a married man today, and he shared something with me that was so amazing. He said, your wife, your lady, is a direct reflection of who you are as a leader. Be careful of what you do, what you don't do, what you say, what you don't say, because she is 110% a reflection of who you are as a leader. I said, thank you, sir. Point taken. He furthered to tell me that Marriage is a perfect institution ran by two imperfect individuals that will forever be under construction. He said, why it's perfect? I said, he said, because God is involved. He said, who are the two imperfect individuals? I said, he said, you and your wife. He said, why would it forever be under construction? I said, he said, because you guys are not perfect. He said, allow God to intervene, pray, be patient, communicate, love each other through the pain and the suffering. He said, but don't never give up on each other and always be the best leader you can.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and stay tuned for more.